Some people take a lot of fuss and pleasure in having boxed games, and yeah, I like my games boxed. But there's a few formats where I never really had boxes that much. One was the Game Boy. This that's in front of you is actually the case my first Game Boy came in. My Game Boy was second hand. And I think it just had Tetris, this box and a magnifier, but this box is now filled with most of my collection. As you can see, there's one of my old Game Boys. I do have another, I have a boxed one somewhere. But then there's games. Pokemon Yellow, Red, Tetris 2, Wario Land, Pokemon Gold, Donkey Kong. A lot of these, or at least some of them, I had as a kid. That Wario Land would have been the one I got as a kid. The Pokemon Red, I'm pretty sure, is the one I got as a kid. Others are picked up off of markets and stuff. That's my childhood Metroid. But I didn't often get these in boxes in the first place. So I don't necessarily miss the boxes from my collection. There's a silver, which I'm pretty sure is a pirate. Speaking of pirates, a lot of these knocked around when I was a kid. The So Many in One cartridge. Game Boy USA Advanced Colour, this says on it. But I'm pretty sure it's just Game Boy Colour one. There's another colour one. I've got Kicks and Superstars. Another gold. Another blue. Now, I know some people will go absolutely crazy over this and be upset that none of these are boxed whatsoever. But most of them were either got for me while I was a kid, or by me when I was a kid, or I've simply picked up for a couple of pound here and there. Here's a good one. Pokemon Crystal. Now, it would be nice to have these boxed. But then I think of all the room they'd take up. And unlike discs, these are obviously quite safe, loose. You know, hardish plastic. Could do with a clean out in that. And obviously they stack a lot better in crates and containers like this. I'm sure there's stuff I haven't got, but when it comes down to it, I've got pretty much everything I'd want. Looking, I don't have DuckTales I'd quite like. There's some colour carts thrown in here as well. There's not so many. Well, not as many as the classics. Surprising game I like on the Game Boy Colour. Street Fighter Alpha. You'd think with the limited buttons it wouldn't be any good, but it's not too bad. Donkey Kong Land. Nice little weird game, which I want to get on the SNES as well at some point. Pierre le Chef at a lunch. You're a chef catching vegetables in a net. Star Wars. I think I originally got that cart as part of my Star Wars collection, not gaming collection. I basically dropped collecting Star Wars and moved on to games because it got that thing where people go, oh, it's old. Clearly anything related to it is worth £1 million. And it just became no fun to get anything because everybody was going off the book value of things and was selling them for book value. And you'd never get a deal. And I moved on to games because I really like about collecting is digging through the dirt, finding something worthwhile, and being excited that you've got a game that might be worth £20, or I'll show you that one again actually. This is somewhat of a tribute to Game Boy games and how tough they are. if you look at how scratched up this game is, I didn't actually pay for this game at all. My brother reversed over it in a works van. When he heard a noise of him hitting something, he got out and found this on the floor, and it's not even cracked, and it still plays. That was my first copy of Pokemon Yellow. And yeah, it looks awful, but it works. In fact, in all my years of buying old and second-hand Game Boy games, I've only ever brought one that didn't work, and that was a copy of Mario Land, which it had got... Somebody cut it somewhere there, I think in an effort to try and get it into a more modern Game Boy, thinking that it would work, and it didn't. But other than that, every single one I've ever brought has worked. Sometimes they're a bit dirty there, and the machine can't quite read them, and some people would say blow, but you can actually get pads and clean the contacts. But that's been all it's taken to get them up and running. I don't think this is quite my full collection. I think I've got another odd cart here or there, probably tucked in the back of other Game Boys, but you get the rough idea. So there you go, there's my Game Boy and Game Boy Colour game collection. I know I have a boxed Game Boy as well. I have a boxed Game Boy Colour. I have about four loose Game Boy Colours, maybe another loose Game Boy somewhere. But yeah, I just thought I'd introduce you to a bit of my collection. Thanks for watching.